guys, welcome back to planetjejuda and happy Loom Knit Day. Today I'm going to stray from our series that we've been doing and do the 4 knit stitches. So in doing so, I'm going to change up the color. So instead of white, I'm going to be using this light yellow. I believe it's pale yellow. So we're going to use that today. And I'm going to go through the 4 types of knit stitches on the loom. And the 4 types are E-wrap, U-wrap, flat, and true knit. I have done the first 3 and I've never done the true knit, so this should be fun. Anyways, I'm gonna bring you on down and we'll get started. As always, you will need your supplies, loom, scissors, your pick, and a darning needle, and of course your yarn. So today I'm going to go ahead and show you how because I'm going to try a different cast on. So I'm going to go ahead and show you this cast on. First we are going to do a slip stitch, put it on that first peg or the anchor peg, and I'm going to do 10 pegs with 10 rows for each of my squares so that we can see the difference. And the reason why I'm using the same yarn is so that we can see the actual difference between each stitch. So I'm going to do the E-wrap stitch, and I'm also going to, like I said, I'm going to E-wrap cast on. And you go from behind, and then this time I'm gonna go ahead and start by casting on individually instead of going and doing the E-wrap, and then instead of doing all 10 at once. Sheesh, I can't talk. So this is a different way to cast on. Typically I would do, if I did an E-wrap cast on, I would E-wrap all the bottom or all the pegs and then re-E-wrap to cast on. Right now I'm doing individual. Okay, that's 3. And we shall see if this gives us a little bit tighter cast on. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. We have successfully cast on, and now I am going to do, now for, like I said, the first few I'm going to do the E-wrap, then U-wrap, then flat knit, and then true knit. So you guys have seen me do the E-wrap. Let me get you closer. Hold on a second. Here, there. This is a little bit more comfortable for me. So I'm gonna, as always, I'm gonna skip that first stitch on the rows, and then, yeah, I'm gonna skip the first stitch. So we are now going to E-wrap. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9 because I skipped that first one. And now I am going to knit over all the bottom stitches. So I will do this a few times, you know, maybe a couple of rows, and then I will finish this off, and then we will come back and do the U-wrap. Okay, and since we're doing knit stitches, we are bringing the knit down, or the loops down. We're gonna skip that first one and then E-wrap all the pegs all the way back. Now, obviously, if you are doing more pegs or in the round, you're not going to want to continuously wrap all the pegs. You'll just wrap as many as you can handle doing and then continue on. But since we are doing simply 10, wow, did you see that? It just got really super loose. We'll see what happens. But since we're just doing the 10, I'm going to go ahead and wrap all of the pegs until, you know, that way I can just do it all at once. Go. That was, I should have my counter, because one and two. Hold on a second. Let me get my counter. Just kidding. I have misplaced my counter, and so I'm using a pen and paper. I've already marked that I've done 2 rows, and now we're going to go ahead and start our 3rd row. Alrighty, here we are. We are done with the E-wrap, and clearly I still need to work on my bind off. I was able to kind of tighten my cast on. I still need to work on it. And that's what we're doing. We're learning and working. So, oops. So that is the E-wrap stitch or knit stitch and how it looks. So now I am going to go ahead and start working on the U-wrap. Okay, so I have already cast on. I did the same thing as I did with the E-wrap, and just like the E-wrap, it's all in how you wrap the peg that denotes the name. So with the E-wrap, you went from behind and you wrapped all the way around. Whereas this one, the U-wrap, we're going to just wrap it halfway so it creates a U. And this way we're going to go in front and then wrap it. And we're going to do individual wraps instead of going all the way across with with the E. So this is best for individual, having to do individual pegs for if you're going to do like the, oh gosh, my brain, seed stitch or rib stitch. It's also, I just happen to like the U-wrap better because it's, you know, I don't have to focus on trying to keep hold of the E-wrap because the E-wrap can get unwrapped very easily. Whereas the U-wrap, it's just an individual, you wrap it and then knit over. So there we go. We've gone over 1 row. I'm going to mark down my first row. We're going to bring them all down because we're just simply doing the U-wrap. And we're going to, of course, skip that first stitch and U-wrap. Oh, come on. Here we go. And I don't know, I feel like I just have better control when I do the U-wrap. So I've not ever done the true knit, but I like doing the purl, and the true knit is very similar to the purl. But out of the 3 that I have done, the U-wrap is my favorite. I struggle with the flat, and you'll see that in just a moment. Alright, so this is the U-wrap knit stitch, and as you can see, it is considerably smaller. You use less yarn than you do with the E-wrap. Here's the E-wrap, here's the U-wrap, and I clearly have, I don't know if I figured out how to do the cast off, but I did it way better than on the E-wrap. I still need to work on the cast on, and apparently with the U-wrap I need to work on the sides, because maybe I should, instead of, I know it gives that nice border, but maybe I should actually do the U-wrap on the ends, the first pegs, because it's giving this kind of weird space in between the edge and that first U-wrap knit stitch. But man, what a difference. And it uses way less, obviously it uses way less yarn, because you're not wrapping the whole peg. So remember, the E-wrap, you go from behind and you wrap that whole peg. The U-wrap, you go from in front and you only wrap half of the peg. So this is the E-wrap, this is the U-wrap. Now we're going to go ahead and get started on the flat knit stitch. Alright, so we are cast on, and as I have done with the others, I am going to keep doing the same. I'm going to skip that first peg and work the next peg. And with the flat knit stitch, you literally just draw your line however far you want to go. Sorry about that, it's got all caught up. And then you knit over. So you just, and it's going to use even less yarn than the U-wrap, because we're just going to cast over, or knit over that top line. Now I struggle with this one because I end up wanting to pull over that top bar, because it's not even a loop, but I end up wanting to pull over the top one, and so I struggle with it. And I don't know, do you see how tight that is? That's just probably my tension. I should probably loosen that up next row. So I might try and do that. But yeah, that's it. That's, you just go over all the pegs that you want to go over, and then you just knit over as you move along the loom. And you just need to be careful not to pull this top yarn over, because then you end up having to start over. So now we're on that last one. We're gonna mark our row, and then we're just gonna simply go back the other way. And I'm gonna try not to pull it so taut. We'll see. Let's see. That's, first one's a little better. Alrighty. Oh, let's pull these down a little bit more. And I'll just do 3. So a lot of people would consider this a faster way to do it. For me, like I said, I struggle with it, so it's not any faster than doing the U-wrap. I'm sure with practice I'll be able to get better and therefore become more efficient and a little faster. But here, as you can see, that was really fast. We've already done our first 2 rows. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and let you watch for a minute and then come back when I'm done. Alright, so this is the flat knit stitch. It is very similar to the U-wrap. The only reason why I know this one's the flat knit is because I did this funky extra big bind off there. I am getting better with my bind off. It is pretty stretchy, so I think I'm learning there. Like I said, I will have to try doing this, working that first peg and seeing if that would make a difference. But for continuity to this video, I am doing every one of them exactly the same. The only thing I've done differently from the first one to this one is I'm stretching out or loosening up my tension on this cast off, or bind off, but everything else is exactly the same. And so let's compare. So here is the U-wrap, and like I said, it's very similar. This one is slightly shorter, but I'm sure that we can stretch them both and see the difference here. Let's see. It's slightly smaller, very, very slightly smaller. But there is a significant difference between the E-wrap to the U-wrap. So the U-wrap and the flat knit are very similar, and the E-wrap is just its own wiggly amoeba. Anyway, so let's go ahead and get started with the one that I've been actually the most anxious for, which is the true knit stitch. Okay, so for the true knit stitch, it is very much the purl stitch in reverse, or as I have been told, it is the reverse purl stitch. Alright, so we are ready to do our true knit stitch, and it is literally the same thing as the purl stitch, but in reverse, so to speak. So instead of going down, you're going to go over, and we're going to go under and then scoop up that knit, or that stitch, the loop, my brain, and pull the loop off. If I can do that, and then put the new loop on and tighten. And that's literally, that's the true knit stitch. So we scoop under, slide it through, create a new loop. My fingers are dry, so they don't want to pull the yarn over. Come on. Oh my goodness. They're cooking in the kitchen, so there we go. And put the new loop on and pull tight. Well, relatively snug. There we go. We'll call it snug. And we'll do this again. I really enjoy doing the purl stitches, so I had a feeling I would really like doing the true knit stitch because it's the same thing, only instead of starting from the bottom, your new loop is coming from the top. Okay. Sorry about that. I had to stop filming for a second. Anyways. So you scoop from the bottom, bring it over the top one and pull it through. Take off the old loop and put the new loop back on and tighten. This one is going to take a little bit longer because there's more to it than just simply laying the yarn over and knitting over, or wrapping it and knitting over. There's a couple of extra steps, but it's gonna create a true knit stitch that we'll see. when we're done. That it was soda?
In here.
Thank you. I needed that laugh. Alright, so here is the true knit stitch, and as you can see, it did do a little better on the edges. I did all of them the same. I skipped that first peg going whichever way I was going for that row, and I think I've kind of progressively done better with my bind off. Still need to work on that cast on. But yeah, there it is. That is the true knit stitch. I think it's really pretty. So let's see it in comparison to, this is the flat knit. So it's a little bit bigger than the flat knit. You can see the stitches are a little bigger. And here is the U-wrap. It's much more similar to the U-wrap. However, like I said, the edges leave a little bit to be desired when it comes to skipping that first peg on the U-wrap. It works a little better with the true knit. And then, of course, our big goose, if you will, the E-wrap. So that is the differences between all four. So we've got the E-wrap, the U-wrap, the flat knit, and the true knit. And I think the true knit is even a little bit bigger than the E-wrap as I'm sitting here looking at it. So obviously, if you use the E-wrap, it's going to provide a much bigger fabric than the other three. I really enjoyed working the true knit. It's very similar. Well, it's the exact opposite of the purl stitch, and I really like doing purl stitches. Purl stitches are by far my favorite stitch, so the true knit is going to be my favorite knit stitch. Will I use it all the time? Don't know. I may still just use, but I may still use the U-wrap for my go-to, but I will definitely start doing projects in the true knit stitch. So, but there you go. That is the 4 knit stitches on the loom. All right, well, there you go. We did all 4 knit stitches on the loom. What'd you think? Do you like the E-wrap and its squiggly wiggliness? Or do you prefer the U-wrap with its tighter stitches? And even tighter still with the flat knit. And then the true Come on, focus. I still have a lot to learn with all of these, and obviously I have a lot to learn with my cast on and cast offs. Practice, 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 practice. That's what we're doing. We're practicing, learning new stitches every week now. So hopefully by the end of this year, I will be doing a lot better. Which knit stitch was your favorite? As I stated, I really enjoy the true knit stitch now that I've actually done it, because it is very similar to the purl stitch. It's just the opposite. Instead of going from the bottom, you're going from the top. And so it's probably my favorite stitch now. I will gravitate towards the U-wrap only because of its simplicity and ease of working up projects while I'm doing bigger projects. It's very quick. It's very easy. It uses, you can see, the E-wrap uses more yarn than any of the others. I think the flat is the least amount of yarn used. And then after that would be the U-wrap and then the true knit. So I hope you enjoyed today's video. I hope you learned something. I did. I learned how to do the true knit stitch. There we go. And I really like it. So if you learned something, like this video, hit that thumbs up button. Leave me a comment. Which stitch is your favorite? Which one will you probably use the most? Well, that would be the same thing, I guess. Anyways, leave me a comment. Let me know. Which one are you going to use most? And if you'd like this video and would like to be notified of any and all future uploads, hit that subscribe button and don't forget to click on the notification bell. And with that, oh, today is Friday, January 19th. So tomorrow, Saturday, is my first bi-weekly live stream. So I will be going live tomorrow, Saturday, January 20th at 6 p.m. Central Standard Time. So I will see you tomorrow. And with that, remember, gravity works, guys.